like we were talking, we are going to talk about, like Sabrina was saying, we are going to talk about the static process for a new team. This was an amazing experience that I had using static. I really like this process. I work with it since 2020, 2021. But I think practicing it with the time, I got more knowledge, and I had amazing results with one particular team. And now I'm trying to do it every time I start a new team in the customer that I'm placed in. They use my experience to build some teams. So we got a new team. They got a new team. Sorry. Then they put myself inside that team to build the structure of that team. And then when the team is built, they change me to another team and let some employee from their own company to keep going the work we started. And this process make me much better with a much better knowledge on how to build this first part of the team, this lower maturity level team, and how to make it faster. And start goes like a glove for this type of situations. So doing a fast summary for what are we going to see here in this presentation. I will talk a little bit very fast about myself. I will talk with you what it's static and why it helps. I will share with you some results where what we had with this team, with this particular team with static. We're gonna talk a little bit to make a comparison between after and before the static process, and we'll have some endings notes to talk about, and maybe if you can have the time, we try to do some kind of I don't know how to say it in English, but I have a gift to give for you who are here with us, and I would like to see some fair way to give this gift at the end of the presentation. So, like I said, a quick presentation for who I am. I am an accredited Kanban trainer from Kanban University since 2021. I am working with Kanban since 2017. I have more than 10 years of experience in the Agile practices. I started with Scrum in 2010. I already have more than 20 years of experience in several IT departments. I passed since from the programming part to testing, to be a project manager, to be a Scrum Master. Now I'm self-delivery manager. I had some good projects, some very fun projects that I had in my career, such as Rio 2016 Olympic Games, and the first project that was allow the people to download music from some vendor legally after the crash of Napster. The record label companies start to sell their music in this kind of MP4 file, and we were the first label to do it in Brazil. It was a very, very, very nice project. So I'm a son. I'm a father of two amazing guys, and I am married. And I want to learn about logistics and international commerce. I begging you, if there is someone here who knows how to import a big amount of product from China, from Japan to Brazil, and how this process works, I would love to learn about it, because I have some ideas with it, and I would like to implement it in the near future. Well, let's begin. So, what is statics? What is static? Why it helps? Imagine, like I said for you in the beginning, that you were a person that needs to build that structure for the team to grow, and you find yourself in a team that doesn't like Agile. I'm sorry, we have an error here in doesn't. I will fix it. But imagine if you get a team that doesn't like Agile, that are in that false summit plateau, that they think they did everything in Agile and it didn't work for them. And also, we have an environment that people doesn't like each other. So the programmer doesn't like the quality guy. The quality guy doesn't like the product owner, and they almost don't talk between each other because they already had a lot of fights in the past, and they fought every time to blame someone for what the team didn't deliver. So they were in a guilt environment that didn't allow them to grow as a team. They were 2 quarters late. The clients were mad with them, were complaining for this company about this team performance. Their bosses are mad as well because they are getting this not satisfactory degree for the service that this team is giving to the clients. The team members are tired. They are working a lot of extra hours, weekends. Some of them are asking to leave in the team. Some of them even leaves the company during the first months, the first 2 months of this year. So imagine it, if you fall in an environment like that, what you will do to raise this team and try to change the image that people had about this team. I started this team in January, and since January until April, I almost didn't anything about Agile. During this 2.5 months period, I tried to make then to have to see that I'm there to help them. I'm with them to help. I'm not there to judge or to talk about their errors or why they are not delivering. So I did everything I could to get this social capital with them, to make them believe that I am a trustable person and I'm there to help them. Because since they fought about Agile, that Agile doesn't work, and you put a guy there that is going to work with Agile, they automatically think that you want to work for nothing to them. So I try to build I try to build the trust on them during those first 2.5 months, because every time we talk about anything about Agile, they say, I don't have time to do it because we are late. I said, okay, let me try to help you. And then I removed every type of impediments that they had. I stay with them every time they made some extra hours, even if I was there just to be with them, to do not let them alone in those extra hours or weekend situations. After I got this trustability from them, I proposed them to do the static, and they didn't understand what was static. And I said, this is a 2 or 3 day process that we are going to stop the team, and we are going to make a X-ray for all the main pain points that we might have here, and we are going to see what we can do to fix it. Since we're going to start the second quarter of the year, we had time to do it. Remember, I entered there in January, and until April, I didn't make anything about Agile, just helping them. And like the others past quarters, they didn't achieve the delivery that was expected to them to achieve. They didn't do anything. They didn't deliver any of the delivers the clients were waiting. And so we were in a a very hostile environment, but we have the time. We had those 2 or 3 days to talk and try to build the team with static. This is a photograph that I took about this static for you guys to see how many post-its we had during this two days conversation, and we had much more. I had to remove some of them because the image will be very messy if I didn't try to organize like that. But you can see it was a very good process because they put all their pain in this. They believed in the process, and they let all their pain in this static process, and we start to solve those pains. What we couldn't solve immediately, we make an agreement between the team that we are going to solve it in the next weeks. So I am talking every time about static. What static means? Static means system thinking approach to introduce Kanban. So they got those first letter from these 7 words and made the 6 words and made this acronym static to help us to remember what that means. If we use this static with the change management principles that are in Kanban, Kanban had 3 types of principles. We have the change management principles, the service delivery principle, and the scale Kanban principles. We are going to talk fast about those 3 principles here, but just to talk with you the relationship between static and Kanban. So start what you do now. We need to respect the process that they had. We need to respect their identity. We could not come to them and say, hey, now you are not a PO, now you are a service request manager. Now you are not a project manager, now you are a scrum master. We couldn't do those kind of changes in their identity because we need them to believe in our process. We couldn't change their process, and we couldn't point the finger, say, hey, you are doing this wrong, that wrong. We couldn't do that, but we need to change it. And we need to change it in an evolutionary path. Every time we need to do something small, very specific, see if that got some results, and if it get those results, we analyze with metrics, see why, what we did better to have these metrics, and or if we didn't achieve what we were expected, we can come back for the previous state and try to do another approach to get the thing to work better. So start with what you do now is exactly about it. Let's start what we are doing now. The team already exists, the process already exists. Where we can improve. Gain agreement to pursue improvements through evolutionary change. It's more or less what we're talking about in the first principle. And encourage acts of leadership at all levels. So if the tester, if the intern person, if the manager says something, hey, I think this might be good, we need to encourage that type of actions, because those people are trying to build the team to make a better performance. And we need to make a guilty-free environment where you can ask everything, and people are not going to judge you for the question you are made. They are trying to answer you, and if they don't know the correct answer, they will go for this answer in some way. The service delivery principles, we need to understand the customers and their expectation. If the customer wants to receive a report, we cannot give them a form. We need to give what the client wants. We need to manage the work. We should not manage the workers. We should let them see which position they can do better, and they can help more the team to achieve their goals. And we need to every time in some periodically we need to review the process in our policies, because sometimes some policies or some network uh, process is working now, but it might not work in the next 3 months. So we need to every time review these policies to improve what we're going to deliver. And the last principles are the Kanban scale principles. So if we already have a Kanban implemented, how we can scale it in the whole company? We need to do it in depth. We need to do it in height. We need to expand Kanban through all the organization to the organization be able to work as a service and not a team view. But to scale it, we need to do static for each team. We cannot do static for this team that was very good and then just copy and paste to another team. It might not be work, because every team has a different kind of behavior, has a particularity that might not be seen in the static that we did to this team. And we need to do the process every time we're going to start a service-oriented team. Sorry, guys, I have a flu. So static has eight steps that are showing in the screen. To begin the static, I made a secret step, that step 0, that I like to talk as a step 0, that is understand the purpose of the team. Because since we are in a team that had a very low maturity, some of those points of those steps are not going to be as traditional static way. We need to do some changes to fit the static process in this team who has a low maturity level. I don't know if you know about the KMM, the Kanban maturity model, but the statics when the team started, the team was a level 0 maturity, and after the static, in the first quarter after the static, we already had a team that was in a level 1 in transition to level 2 in maturity level steps. Maturity level Kanban maturity level model has 7 levels, and each of those levels are split in consolidation and transition. And we had a growth. If we want to reach the last level of maturity model, we need to have the organization as a whole in a service implementation process. But since we're talking about a team, the maximum level that we can reach is level 3. That is fit for purpose. We will be able to deliver what the client is expecting. And very, very important point to say as well, that this static was made for a team and not made for a service, because of this low maturity level that we talked before. We are going to pass now for all these 8 steps and this secret step that we are talking in the beginning. Yes, what we are. Since the team was fighting every time, they didn't like each other. They didn't respect any process. When we started the static, we made this secret step. What we are? We asked this question for the team: why are we here? what are you doing? What are we doing here? Why we are hired to do what we are doing? And we split the team in 2 groups and ask them to answer this question. Why are we here? And we have like a 50-minute breakout room, and those 2 teams made their answer to this question, and then we come back to the big group and made the answer that both sides identify the most, and this was their purpose. So now we know why are we here. What are we going to do? What the company expects from us. The second step is in statics. What makes us fit for purpose? Remember that this is KMM level 3 answer question, and for us to answer, we need to have a bigger maturity level inside this team. So we didn't make this step. Very important thing to say that even if static has these 8 steps, you don't need to follow each step like a recipe. You can do the step 1, you can do the step 3, then 5. And so 3 months ago, so 3 months later, you can do the step 2 and step 7, step 8. It's up to what your team needs, what your service needs. For me, we did the step 0 and then the step 2 until the step 8. Step 8 was very easy because we were team level, so we didn't have so much impact to the organization to negotiate with them this static implementation. But we will talk it in the step 8. Step 2, source of dissatisfaction. Different from a retrospective meeting, we made this source of dissatisfaction with the following question: what are the team pain points that we can solve? So if you can see here, we have this word written in green, and here is written in pink in the other side of the dissatisfaction source. This pink one is from the perspective of the client or the other teams that are working with us. And this part, this green part, is everything the team knows that's wrong with the team and what we can do to solve this problem. So how we did it? We stopped for 2 hours, and people put all the team members put all this satisfaction points, both internal view or external view, and then point by point we start to talk. Okay, we have this point. What we can do to solve it? And it was for all the type of dissatisfaction that we might have. For example, below this green word, we have a person from the team that were dissatisfied with the people punctuality to the meeting. The meeting was scheduled to start at 9 a.m. and people start to come to the meeting at 9:30. So we need to wait everybody to come to the meeting, to start the meeting, and we lose a lot of time waiting, and it was a waste of time, waste of money for the company, waste for everybody. And then we made an agreement. Okay, if we had a meeting 9 a.m., we will do it 9 a.m. We will have 3 minutes waiting time, and then 9 hours and 3 minutes, the meeting will start. And we have all types of dissatisfactions. For example, here we have some codes, development code pattern. People wasn't programming with the pattern the company were waiting. They are doing everything they thought, the developers were doing everything they thought is correct, and they were not asking for the other people inside the team or for the company if what they are doing was right. The company had a program called Sonar Cube that is used to see the quality of the code we are delivering, and the team were not using it. Then we stopped it. We stopped this pain, and we made an agreement with the team. From now on, we are going to use Sonar Cube, and we are only putting productions codes that are up to 85% of success in Sonar Cube to be able to be implemented in production environment. We made this agreement with the team because we want to grow the quality of the code that we are delivering to reduce all the bugs that we might have in production. So we're past 2 hours talking about this kind of dissatisfactions, and it gives to the team the impression that we are going to do something to change those dissatisfactions. Of course, after the static, it should not be only an impression. We need to do everything we promised them we are going to do in this second step. But at that time, since we are only made plans on how we are going to solve those dissatisfactions, it's very important to them to see that this source of dissatisfaction are going to be solved in the near future. So, for example, this punctuality problem, we could solve it at the same time. It is a very easy thing to do, but it makes the people to believe in you as a Agile, as a service delivery manager. And every time we talk about those sources of dissatisfaction and we see that we can do something to solve this problem, the environment in the team starts to be better each time we solve something. Because sometimes we have some dissatisfaction that the quality member guy has, and the development team can solve. So they start to build a relationship between them because now they are working together for a goal to solve that problem that they didn't know it exists. So, in my opinion, this second step is the second most important step to do during the static process. If you are going to do static for the first time, I strongly recommend you to do this step to understand everything, all the pains that your team are feeling and what we can do to solve it. Or if this is a pain that we need to live with it, we cannot do anything about it. It appears here as well. But since we understood that we cannot do anything, okay, this is not a complaint anymore. This is the environment that the company gives to us, and we need to deal with it. We cannot stop and complain every time because we know this is the way the company is going to work. And to be able to understand it is very important as well. So the step 3, we need to analyze our demands. What are those demands? Why they come for us? Where they for who we deliver it? How many times we do it per day, per week, per month? What is the return of investment of those demands? Why are we doing it? Is it good for the company, for the team? What is the benefit of doing those demands? So we listed all those demands, and then we start to answer those questions: where it come, when it come, why it come, where it goes, and then we fulfill this board that I put the image here. Don't look now for this purple post-it because we're going to talk about it in the step 6. Guys, any questions until this step? So, am I going too fast? Am I going too slow?
No, you're
Why
doing
do?
great, Turtle.
Okay, thank you. So in the step 4, it's another very important step, because we need to measure what we deliver or what we are doing, and we didn't have it. Remember, people doesn't like each other. They don't like Agile. They are delayed 2 quarters. Everything we are going to deliver in the second quarter of 2022 should be delivered in the third quarter of 2021. So we are almost 9 months delayed. We didn't have anything to analyze our capabilities. So, okay, this is the environment we have right now. Okay, let's change a little bit this step 4. What we want to measure, what we want to see in the next month, in the next sprint, in the next quarter. What are numbers that are going to make us to change our behavior in any type of decisions? So people start to put all those metrics here. Every post-it here is a different type of metric. Some people want to know how many incidents we had. Some people want to know how many deliveries are we doing. Some people want to know the quality of the code we are doing in production environment. So a lot of questions for metrics appears in this step 4, since we didn't have how to measure those capabilities for the team. And like the source of dissatisfaction, we said, okay, we are going to looking for all these needs, metrics that the team needs to be able to look for those numbers and try to improve it itself. In the step 5, we try to model the workflow. What is the workflow? The workflow is all the stages that the demand pass to be delivered for the client. In each step, we had some knowledge improvement in this demand that made the previous step done as everything we should do in the previous step is done. Now we can move to the next step, to the next change of this demand for it to be satisfactory for the customer in the end of the process. So we split the workflow into paths. This discovery here, the lower one, is the upstream, where we had some idea, and we start to look about this idea, see if it's possible to be done or not, if it's important or not. We talk with the team if it is a good idea, as a good demand that is going to give a good return of investment or a better performance for the team. We call all the team to make a refinement session and see everything we need to do to deliver this idea. Then this last step is ready for that. When enters this step, automatically it goes to delivery. And it's not here, but it's going to be in the step 7. When the demand goes to ready for development, it starts the commitment point. What is the commitment point? Is the point where the team says, okay, I understand what you need, I'm going to do it. Make a comparison with our day-to-day basis. Imagine if you call for your favorite pizza place, restaurant, and they say to you, okay, I understand your order, we are going to deliver it for you in the next 30 minutes. So they had this point of this commitment point when they say, okay, we understand your order, and we give you some predictable time when we are going to deliver, until 30 minutes. Kanban system normally has 2 commitment points when the team understands what they need to do to deliver, and the second commitment point should be between those 2 columns, waiting for production environment and validation. Sorry, validation in production environment and done. It should be between those 2 points, those 2 stages, because the team has a much better skills now when the demand goes to this stage to see when it's going to be delivered. So we have a much more accuracy to tell the client it's going to be ready tomorrow, it's going to be ready for use in 30 minutes. But we need to do it in 2 steps, the commitment point. First, we understood the demand and what we need to do to deliver, and then we are going to deliver. So the timing should be different. And the ready for development, sometimes it's a sprint, sometimes it's a week, sometimes it's a day. And in the second commitment point, in production environment validation and done, it's like 30 minutes, 1 hour. So it gives the information to the client when he's going to receive the demand he is asking for. Now we are going to talk about the purple post-it that I talked to you to do not care about it in the step 3. Is the class of service. Remember, in the step 3, we talk about those demands. Why are there? Who asked for who it's going to be delivered. Now we need to understand what's the impact if we do not do it, if we didn't deliver. The impact will be big. We will have some impact. We'll feel something. Between the impacts that we are going to feel, which one hurts the most? Which one hurts the less? Which one we can mitigate? So class of service is a very important type of understand what is your demand, what is the cost of delay for your demand. If you don't deliver the demand at the time it's expected, what is the impact? What's going to happen? So Kanban usually talk with you about 4 types of class of service, but it's only a talk. You don't need to follow exactly the class of service that Kanban gives to you. You can create your own class of service, but Kanban recommends you to do not have more than 6. Kanban recommends 4, that we're going to talk in the next slide, but you can create 6 for you. If you start to create a lot of class of service, it might be too hard for you to see for that demand which class of service it fits. When you have until 6 types of class of service, it's easy for you to see where are you going to fit this demand against those class of service. So class of service, like we said before, talks about the impact of delay. And Kanban give us as a recommendation those 4 types. For example, an expedite type, this first one here. If you don't do it now, the impact is big. Sometimes it can close your organization. For example, imagine if you had a ransomware attack, like we had in the beginning of the year with a lot of companies from the south area of Brazil. Big example is Renner. Renner passed almost 1 week without the ability to sell. If Renner is a company that sells, how it's going to survive if we do not fix this expedite problem about this ransomware attack? So they lose a lot of money in this week that they could not sell, but they were able to solve the problem. And when they discover the problem, they understand we are losing millions per hour. We won't survive if this type of pain, its type of pain continues for another month. So we need to act immediately. Fixed date is when we have impact only after some date. For example, the IRS. When Brazilian IRS comes, they say you should deliver your declaration until April 30. If you wait to do your IRS declaration and do it in April 30, you won't have any impact. But in May the 1st, the impact is already done. It's huge. You are going to pay a ticket because you didn't deliver on the time. You're going to suffer some impact. For a company, for example, in a Christmas campaign, if you don't do this Christmas campaign until Christmas, there is no sense for you to do the Christmas campaign in December 29th, for example. The impact of do not do it in the correct time is already done. Christmas has already passed. Standard is the planned demands. So during the time, the impact of do not deliver it is growing in a predictable way. And intangible is the last class of service that we're going to talk about here. But it's something that you think you can delay. It's not very important now. But for no explanation, what is expected for this intangible demand happens, and the impact is huge. Again, using, for example, Renner. Renner might have some security problem that allows the ransomware to happen. I don't work at Renner. Sorry, I'm sorry to talk about the company, but because this is a famous case that happens in the beginning of the year, I use it as a type of explanation. Okay. Imagine that they had some process to update the security, the information security systems, and they didn't made. This is only a example, okay? And then the ransomware attack happens. So this security update not done until 1 day before the attack didn't have any impact. In the day of the attack, that they didn't know when it's going to happen or if it's going to happen, but when it happens, the impact is huge and sometimes intangible. For this example as well, the intangible, when the impact happens, turns to an expedite class of service. And we did it with the team, with our demands. We split each demand in each class of service. So here we have a question to you to make it easier to you to understand this class of service. What will happen if you don't finish the work? What is the impact? And it was the first time that I used all 4 classes of service in a static process, but they use it. They use the expedite, the fixed date, the standard, and the intangible here. So after all these steps, we had the designing the Kanban system step. Now we are not going to design only the workflow that we made. We are going to see what are the WIP limits, where is our commitment points, how we are going to work in the most important demands that we had in the step 3, using the knowledge that we have now in the step 6 with the class of service. And then we're going to see the workflow for the most important one. The less important might not have all the steps in the Kanban system, but it will follow the steps it's important to them. Because since we had a lot of type of demands, it was impossible to have one Kanban system to treat all these type of demands. And it's normal. It happens all the time. Okay, we have several type of demands. We need to see what are the most important, and the less important should follow the behavior of those more important demands. Here we have those numbers above the stage, and those numbers are the WIP limits. Sometimes we do not use the WIP limits because we are waiting for some another department. For example, here in code review, after the developer made the the code, they need to give this code for a group of developers from the company, and they will analyze if it's good or not. This code review was one of the source of dissatisfaction, was one dissatisfaction that we implemented immediately. The company that we work has this group of developers, and we didn't use it until then. Now with this new workflow, we will use, so the developer does their code, pass to this group of developers that will evaluate the code, and if it's approved, goes to the test QA team. After this step 7, we need to socialize the design and negotiate this implementation, because we need to talk with the company about the impact that this change that we made in STATIK might make in the organization as a whole. Since we had this team in a very low maturity model level, was it hard for us to talk with the organization, say, hey guys, we are going to change the way this team is working, okay? For everyone that we had in the dependence map that we talk about, all of them were very happy, said, oh God, thank you very much for this information, because I couldn't work with this thing again. And then we put this image here is an example about this implementation that we informed all the organization. This is a document, is a wiki, like a Wikipedia. It's like Wikipedia. This is the Wikipedia of the team for the company to know when it's going to have the daily, when we are going to do the planning, what is our roadmap, what we pretend to deliver in the next quarters, our Jira board, and here is our cadence, the time of our cadence. If someone wants to participate, they are more than welcome, and so they can see the schedule and talk to the service delivery manager, the Scrum Master, the guy who is responsible to manage those meetings, cadence, and say, hey, I want to participate. I want to understand what the team is doing. Okay, you're invited. To finish, I'm going to show you some results. For example, remember the purpose of the team. In this Wikipedia, they made. I didn't ask them to do it, and this is something that I really like to see. They made in the Wikipedia what they are, their identity. So remember, the purpose is here. Oh, sorry. Here's the proposal that they made in the STATIK. Here they welcome anyone to see what's going on in this team, and when the people want to, if people want to inspect, when they can do it. It's the same page about this image here. I just changed to get the important parts in the correct step in this presentation, but it's the same address. Now we in the same address as well, another picture of the same document. Now we know what we are delivering. So here we have our OKR, our interest rates, our reservations, everything that what we are going to deliver now has a return of investment metrics, quality development metrics and efficient team metrics as well. Also, we had this documentation. In some of those points are delivers that you can click, and it's going to open a document that explains what is that delivery. Like I said, the throughput grows every month because this more dark green is incidents. So you see, analyzing this throughput image, we are only delivering incidents. But after April, where we did the static, we start to work with histories. And these histories might be something new to deliver for the team, for the customer, or it can be something that solves some production bugs. It doesn't officially gives value because the bug should not exist, but it was very good for the team to understand they are solving the problem. So you see, in May we had 30 defects, and then in with the work they did in June, they only have 5, and then the work which they had in July, they only had 4, and then it goes on. Return of investment metrics. Now we have a lot of numbers. Everything we are delivering is being metrified with return of investment. Where is the payback? Where is the internal rate? This is on a screen. This is made in Hidash program. I don't know if everybody knows about Hidash. I didn't know about it, but when I knew it exists, I was very happy because we can do all this type of information, and we have much more. But now it's just an example that we understand our value. We understand what we are delivering. See this big number here, over 6 million Brazilian reals is using by something that we are delivering. It gives for the team the sense of importance of their work. Now they understand what they are doing and the importance for the company. And another good information. Remember that they are delayed a lot of time, three quarters. Now they are starting to deliver more than the demand is coming, because since they are starting to fix all the bugs, they are now able to deliver new features to the clients. And you see, this image is something between how many things are entered in the team and how many things the team is delivering. And if you get the whole year, we see until April, we had 3 head bars, and those head bars says that our backlog is growing. We are receiving more than we are delivering. After the static, we start to deliver much more than we are receiving. So our backlog is getting smaller, and we do not have fear to be in starvation mode right now. But if we continue with this performance that we have, it might happens in, I don't know, in 6 or 9 months. But it's a good thing, because it's a ginormous organization. If this thing enter in starvation process, they can be used to disseminate this knowledge that they have now in another teams inside the same organization. For those who doesn't know, starvation is when you don't have nothing more to deliver. Your backlog is 0. So the team is going to be in a situation that they don't have work to do, so they can be using another position inside the company, and the company recognizes that. The company give the team the environment to do this, to be able to say, hey, I finished my deliveries, where I can help. Before and after static, just a fast comparison. The team didn't like each other. They are over the layer. They didn't have process before the start. After the start, they understand who they are, and They understand that they need to count between them to deliver what they need to deliver. The quality guy needs the developer guy. The developer guy needs the PO guy. The PO guy needs the service delivery manager guy. They start to deliver more demands than it comes, like we talk about the backlogs. They made the regular policies for the team and behavior they expecting. They see the metrics now. Each 2 weeks, they stop and see what they deliver, if it's successful or not, if the client's happy or not. And if you evaluate them inside the practice of the Kanban maturity model, like I said in the beginning, now they are in the level 1 in transition mode to level 2. Now they are starting to be customer driving. And when they are customer driving, they are a team that deliver what the customer wants. They are not a service. They will be a service in level 3, in fit for purpose maturity. Guys, that's it. I want to ask if you have any questions. I'm sorry, my English, I am not talking English for a very long time, but I try to do it because it's a challenge that I like challenge. I like to be challenged, and it was amazing to pass this time with you. I don't know if you have any questions.